Ah, I can't shut this off. Come on. I'm back. I had another tab open and I was trying to get to him as Trump was speaking. How you feeling, Ed? Tim and Roboto. Wow. You're early. Glad you came in today. Happy Sunday, everybody. Lucy, so how'd it go this morning, Lucy? Yeah, it's I'll see if we beat you there, Jersey Joe. Well, actually, 17, and it feels like um minus 4 degrees, or feels like 3, but low -4. K should be coming in, I think. So yeah, Carol's birthday was yesterday, Jersey Joe. So everybody, yesterday I think was a big day I hadn't had in a long time. We needed to get 7 more, and I was going to have 300 on both shows yesterday. I never had that before. I had a lot on one show, but having back to back 300 shows, I haven't done that in a while. So everybody's starting to find my channel again. We had two great shows yesterday, Jersey Joe. I don't know if you heard them both. Claire, Okay, yeah, there's a lot of good stuff yesterday. Dancing Queen. No, 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 no. No, 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 not this time. I'd rather have the Rams win. We're we're gonna go all the way up to 6 o'clock before the. I'm glad the second game is. I'm glad they didn't play early. Dancing Queen. I'm glad it's the late one, so we can have 3 hours of intel. Yeah. So Jersey Joe, do you want to be a mod? Because Kay was asking me to ask you if you wanted to be a mod. Well, that's okay though. It's like whenever you pop in, you know, you could be a mod. I gave Carol and Tim and Lucy. So we can have backups. Okay, can take a break once in a while. And Lucy, how's the snow this morning, Lucy? And are you in, man? So it looks like, oh my God. How much? Oh, did you get a picture outside yet, Lucy? I thought you were going to send it. Oh, that was Kay. Because Kay was getting stuff down there in Texas. I just texted her, so I'm hoping she gets in there. So just let me know when I can give you a wrench. If you want a wrench, I'll give it to you. And how you feeling this morning or today and with the weather from this morning? The first 5 minutes, I'm going to be doing photos. I got a bunch of weather photos I'm going to share. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. Carol's listening somewhere. And all the lurkers out there, Greg, Dave, Coolby's not in yet. Paul's not in yet. So we're going to show the photos first before we get to videos. We do have Billy Bean today, 26 minutes, so it's a little long. I'm trying to do all the short ones, but I found so much stuff to share again today. Can. I tried calling you, but your phone was busy. So here is the first outage map. I got a few others I'm going to share. Virginia's on the other one, and oh boy, it's a big screen TV on there. So, well, I'm the news channel, I guess. They got to put my new channel on the YouTube channel. So Texas is number 2, Mississippi, Louisiana, Kentucky, Georgia, and Alabama. This is the first. Wait, I want to do something here. Okay, I'm going to start from the top. That's the top there. Oh, there's Virginia. On the bottom there. Oh, wait, it says I can view all of them. See if I can do that. Oh. On top there, it's showing 896,000. Okay, what we got here? That's bad. I will hope Kay's coming in. She's not in. And there's Texas. See if she's getting in here. I'm going to show her the map there. Okay, that's Louisiana. I think that's the highest I can get it up to. Mississippi. Anybody from Mississippi? Oh, same one. And this is Tennessee here. Then I got photos of Melania. Her movie's coming out pretty soon. Melania. I got on X today. I don't know if you guys saw this um photo. Oh no, what is going on? No, not right now. Shoot. Did anybody see this yet? So what I was reading, they said Melania's movie had a lot of comms. Okay, one more photo. You guys all saw that, right? Tinfoil of the day. Melania is Q. Melania has been Q all along. Mike? I don't know where Kay's at. Must be on the phone. All right, let's start off with a 9-minute one with a new guy on Telegram. The one that Kay likes, a few other people like.
What's up, everybody? So, I'm going to talk about a couple things. First, I want to talk about people are asking about shares. And a lot of people that are on this page or this channel were not here when the shares went out and everything happened. So here's what's going to happen. I consulted with the group that have been helping me, and here's what we're going to do. So the shareholders, when you start getting contacted directly, and we're putting the form together so that people who contact you ask the right questions, and make sure that they get all the information that they need. When they contact you, the shareholders, the actual shareholders that have shares right now, they are going to ask the shareholder if they are okay with reopening the shares so that more shares can be sold, since there's more people that want them. And it's going to be like democracy. Like, if the majority say yes, then we'll reopen it and we will allow them
This
to be
guy's
purchased
good.
again. If the majority says no, then that's it. We're not going to open it. We're going to respect that. Since they are the shareholders, they have the voting right to determine what happens and how many shares, and if that's made available again, because they're the owners of them. Okay. So, with that said, something else came up that's come up recently. So, for those who don't know, we have our own a U.S. Supreme Court registered air equity court that is the trustee of our organization. That court is in Canada. They have been around since 1976. They are a registered U.S. private air equity court, okay, that is attached to us legally, and the U.S. Army is our administrator of our living trust. So we are working on a command order that we have to put out. Interestingly enough, in the process of proofing this command order that has to go out, which tethers us together, which fully attaches us under law on the North American continent together. Something came up. So interesting. Does anybody ever wonder why Congress got the power to declare war? It seems so weird that Congress, like those buffoons, would have the capacity to declare war. Isn't that weird? Strange. Well, it's interesting. Let me tell you why. Article 1 states that there will be a Congress of the United States. That means they are not a part of the United States. They are not a U.S. Congress. They are a Congress of the United States. When they are a Congress of the United States under Article 1, they deal with foreign affairs. Okay? When Congress declares war, and I'm pretty sure they didn't get the power to declare anything as a fact except war, which means everything else they do is opinions, by the way, just so you know. Their opinion mechanism. We initiate a foreign war. We send troops to foreign lands. That's why they're called the veterans of foreign wars. Because when Congress declares war, that is a foreign affair. Okay? That's why they declare war in foreign lands. There you go. That's why. That's why they have the power to declare war. So the real question is, what is it called when it's not in a foreign land, but it's within the jurisdiction of the United States? We call that domestic law enforcement. Isn't that funny? We call it domestic law enforcement. So, does anybody want to know why Venezuela is within the United States? It's very simple. Venezuela is a recognized member of the Organization of American States. The Organization of American States headquarters is located just off the south lawn of the White House at the corner of Constitution Boulevard and 17th Street Northwest. That building is Article 2 It's under Article 2. The court that's there is called the Inter-American Court of Human Rights. The Inter-American Court of Human Rights is where the International Bar Association bar members are, which is the Court of Human Rights, for which I'm a member. And I'm on the North American Forum, and I'm on the Indigenous Peoples Committee, and I'm on the Arbitration Committee, and I'm on the War Crimes Committee. In our organization's Declaration of Independence, the Inter-American Court of Human Rights is cited as standing rules of judicial procedure because I'm an international bar member, and it was done under international law at the Inter-American Court of Human Rights, which is at the Organization of American States. There are 36 state entities in the Western Hemisphere that are members of the Organization of American States. All of them are within the Monroe Doctrine, for which the U.S. is the law enforcement mechanism of domestic law enforcement for that organization. That's why Venezuela, as an American state, recognized by the Organization of American States, is a domestic law enforcement situation. Further, the next building up from that, next building north of that, closer to the White House, is called Constitutional Hall. That building is ran by the Daughters of the American Revolution. The Daughters of the American Revolution in Constitutional Hall is Article 3, general law or law. And the next building up from that is the Red Cross building. And all of these buildings encompass the South Lawn. The next building up is called the Red Cross building. That building is actually Article 3, equity, for general law and equity on the trust side. And does anybody know what the building right behind those buildings is called? The Department of Interior. Interior meaning domestic. There you go. That's how the U.S. is able to enforce law in the Western Hemisphere, because that state, which is an American state in the American jurisdiction in the Western Hemisphere, is a member of the Organization of American States. There you go. There's your answer. And that's how everything's happening, because we have a domestic American trust. So I hope that's enlightening. Share it if you want to.
So that was a good one this time. Sometimes he has some bad ones, but he does good on that one. Here you go. Two minutes.
To Washington from every corner of the country to defend the infinite worth and God-given dignity of every human life. In 2026, as we celebrate 250 years since our founding fathers recognized the right to life in our Declaration of Independence, I want to thank every single one of you who was out on this winter day, a beautiful day, but it's winter nevertheless, to stand up for the unborn. 6 years ago, I was proud to be the first president in history to attend this march in person. Since then, we have made unprecedented strides to protect innocent life and support the institution of the family like never before. There's never been anything like it. In my first term, I was honored to appoint judges and justices who believed in interpreting the Constitution as written. That was a big deal. And because of that, the pro-life movement won the greatest victory in its history. Now the work to rebuild a culture that supports life continues in every state, every community, and every part of our beautiful land. This is a battle that must be fought, must be won, not only in the corridors of power, but above all in the hearts and souls of the people. That is why under the Trump administration, we're strongly defending religious liberty. We're bringing back faith in America. We're bringing back God. We have stopped forced taxpayer funding of abortion at home and abroad. We're championing faith-based adoption and foster care and supporting our parents by investing $1,000 into an account that will grow over time for every newborn baby. With your help and support, we will continue to fight at the eternal truth that every child is a gift from God. Thank you, and God bless America.
Okay, Trump on today, I believe that was today. I got the next 4 minutes. I think I got a couple of Doug videos there for you, Kim.
You'll understand why one man with no elected office, no official title,
Anybody see this one?
keeps appearing at the center of every major Middle East peace deal, and why that matters according to Daniel's prophecy. Daniel didn't say the final countdown begins with war. He said it begins with a covenant, a deal involving many nations, and one figure who confirms it. Presidents change, administrations collapse, but this man keeps showing up, quietly, strategically, right when Israel's future is on the table. How is that possible? There are only 3 possibilities about this man. Each of these possibilities leads to a very different future, and each one deserves careful examination. But here's what makes this investigation unsettling, and this will become critical when we reach number 3. But before we get there, let's start with the most controversial figure. Number 1, who really is Jared Kushner? So why are we even talking about Jared Kushner? I mean, he's not the president. He's not a diplomat. He doesn't hold any government title. So why does he keep appearing in conversations about Bible prophecy? Here's why. And pay close attention to this detail, because it will become enormously significant when we examine exactly what Daniel said about how this figure operates. Let's start with who this man actually is. Jared Kushner was born in 1981 into a wealthy New Jersey real estate family. His father, Charles Kushner, built a billion-dollar property empire. Jared attended Harvard, then NYU Law School, and by his mid-20s, he was running the family business. In 2007, at just 26 years old, he made headlines by purchasing 666 Fifth Avenue in Manhattan for $1.8 billion. At the time, the highest price ever paid for a single building in American history. Now, I'm not going to make too much of that address. Addresses are arbitrary. City planners assign numbers, not profits. But I mention it because it shows you something important about Kushner. He operates at levels most people never reach. He moves in circles where billion-dollar deals are routine. And that access, that comfort in rooms where global power is exercised, would later prove to be his greatest asset. In 2009, Kushner married Ivanka Trump, daughter of real estate mogul and future President Donald Trump. That marriage would change everything. Not just for Kushner personally, but potentially for the entire prophetic timeline. Because when Donald Trump won the presidency in 2016, Jared Kushner, a man with 0 political experience, 0 diplomatic training, 0 government background, was appointed senior advisor to the President of the United States. And here's what most people don't realize about that appointment, and this is going to connect directly to something we'll see later about how the end times figure rises to prominence. Kushner wasn't given some ceremonial role.
Oh, that was a short one. I got another 4-minute one.
This giant 45-foot wide 3D printer is building the world's largest printed community. That's the claim of Icon, a construction company that is close to finishing the walls of its 100th home in Georgetown, Texas, where its nearly 5-ton 3D printer, Vulcan, is churning out homes at a rapid pace. Connor Jenkins is Icon's senior project manager.
One layer at a time, Vulcan prints a full house. It goes from the front of the slab to the back for one layer. And for these homes in particular, after 10 feet of printing in a few days, you have the wall system for a house.
After concrete powder, water, sand, and other additives are pumped into the printer, a nozzle spits out layer after layer of the concrete mixture.
Our different layers provide this kind of corduroy effect, which can actually be really soft and be a great experience for homeowners.
Homeowners Angela Hontus and Lawrence Nurzad said the walls keep the house cool, quiet, and resilient in extreme weather.
The concrete floors are very cool, literally, and the quietness. We're right next to a bypass, and you can't hear anything, so it's very quiet.
But Nurzad says the thick walls can make Wi-Fi access a challenge.
Obviously, these are really strong, thick walls, and that's what, provides a lot of value for us as an homeowner and keeps this thing really well insulated in a Texas summer. But signal doesn't transfer through these walls very well. So we're still kind of in the hunt for a network situation that will work for us, given the home's length.
The homes in this 3D printed community range from 1,500 to 2,000 square feet, and they're less expensive than traditionally constructed homes, costing anywhere from $450,000 to $600,000. Icon is already looking toward its next venture, and it's shooting for the moon. After NASA contracted Icon to develop a construction system capable of building landing pads, shelters, and other structures on the lunar surface.
Oh, is that it? I guess it was only 4 minutes. Okay, see where the next one is. Oh, we got a 3 minute, 2 minute one, 2 minute one.
Did you see it yet? Not blue hair, not a radical, not an immigrant, not even a woman who we know you have no respect for. This is a white, seemingly straight, good-looking young man, an ICU nurse who works at the VA helping our heroes. He was on the street filming when ICE double-handed pushed a woman to the ground, and he went over and he stood between her and their violence. And then the federal officers pepper sprayed both of them, and he still kept his body between her and these out-of-control monsters. So then 8 untrained cowards jumped him. They disarmed him because he told them he was carrying, with a legal permit, by the way, in a concealed carry state. And then they executed him in front of a street full of people on camera. And when his lifeless body was on the ground for the crime of protecting someone who was being attacked, these fucking psychopaths put at least 5 more bullets into his body. And we're supposed to believe they were fearing for their lives? DHS and ICE are already on TV saying he was armed and violently resisting. No, he wasn't, you fucking liars. He wasn't violent. You were. You are the armed criminals. You are the ones with no place in civil society. The United States Senate is voting on ICE's funding next week. And this is a group that does not deserve to be funded. Any senator who votes to continue to pay for this mob of unhinged murderers is out of their fucking mind, because this cannot be retrained. This has to be stopped. So if you are a U.S. senator right now, do not write a fucking tweet. Do not write a fucking tweet. Write a bill. Write a bill that abolishes this heinous department. Yes, we need immigration officers, but we don't need whatever the fuck the...
Sorry about that one, you guys. She made a point, though. She was right. What did Bonnie say here? Oh. The ones that we played with Doug was yesterday's, Kim. He hasn't come out yet. A new one. Okay, I got some more stuff I want to read before we get to the next video. Pam Bondi just sent a letter to Minnesota officials saying ICE will be removed if the state hands over its voter database to Trump. This isn't about safety or immigration. It's about controlling elections in swing states. This is how democracy gets stolen. Putting illegals up in the hotels, save the hotel industry. Let safe the aircraft industry by flying them all back home. I don't know if you guys saw this one. The flow of events, the great revealing. I'll be doing Billy Bean next. Get that one done. Okay, that one guy on Telegram came out with a good one today. The 9-minute one. Okay, I think I'm all done reading. Got one more. Then we'll get to Billy Bean and go back to doing the shorts. Nothing is as empowering as the truth, yet it remains much hated thing in the world. I'm going to show this 1-minute video for Kay. Kay, I got a video for you. Ariella. Shoot.
You good?
I thought that was kind of good for you. You like the birds. Okay, let's get Billy Bean done. Yep.
I'm in Texas about 8 a.m. Some of the things we'll
26
cover.
minutes.
The cold takes down 10,000 flights plus, many without power.
What you read, Ed?
And we've had a second shooting in Minnesota. And in Minnesota, a federal agent's finger has been bitten off. We have in Mexico information about Mexico interfering and manipulating U.S. elections. President Trump, we believe, is thinking about the Insurrection Act. And flights are also down, canceled over the Middle East. China has had a coup, or we could say President Xi has had a coup attempt. So let's get started. We're going to begin with the weather. This winter weather system is named Fern, and we have across America a catastrophic, not seen before, coast to coast, a cold event, giving us temperatures was still in the 50s in the south portions of the U.S., California and Florida. However, in the wedge over the U.S., all the way down to the South Texas coast of Texas is 34 degrees. We see in the northwest corner of the U.S. Temperatures in the 20s and 30s, while the southeast corner also 20s and 30s, but most of the U.S. is in single-digit temperatures. So we've had the first wave of this Arctic blast come over the U.S. We're expecting a second wave. What we're experiencing now
Happy Sunday,
over
everybody.
most of the U.S. is temperatures well below freezing with feel-like temperatures in some areas minus 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Feet of snow and up to 1/4 inch of ice, up to 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, 1 inch. And it's predicted that some areas in the U.S. may experience up to 3 inches of ice. Now we know up a 3/4 inch of ice will definitely cause power outages. Ice accumulates on the power lines and also presents catastrophic, life-threatening in many situations, driving conditions for our roads. So I know in Texas, churches were encouraged to close today.
Meet One Track Jack. He's a credit wrecker. He doesn't know that by focusing on one type of credit, he can hurt his score. Don't be like One Track Jack. Learn how to avoid the wreckers at creditwreckers.com. Credit One Bank for what's ahead.
Widespread power outages across the area with more wintry mix heading to the Midwest. Stay tuned for more.
On Sunday, and schools are closed on Monday. I understand that reflects much of the U.S., and U.S. citizens have been advised by all levels of emergency management and government to stay home, stay off of the roads, and to stock up for a cold event to last 5 to 7 days. Now, I know in Texas, we expect this afternoon to go below in the south coast of Texas, to go below freezing and to be at that temperature for 80 plus hours. We will have some warming up, but at nights, this is the south coast of Texas, will be in the 20s. Then by Thursday or Friday, a second Arctic blast is expected. I believe in the spring, we will see Congress putting out billions of dollars toward hardening the U.S. grid, because I believe, as I explained in my previous video, we have had climate change, and many believe the Earth is tilted and that the U.S. is now at a colder latitude. This could be, but I believe we are in a climate change and that the U.S. can expect to see many winters, possibly worse than this cold situation we're seeing now, with colder blast coming from the Arctic across Canada and the U.S. and so on. So that's going on. So we have tens of thousands of people without power. We've had 10,000 flights canceled. We have 17 states and declarations of emergency. In the U.S., we have up to 240 million people affected. That's out of our total population of 338 million citizens. We have 40 out of the 48 continental U.S. states affected. So that's going on. I have a list of the 12 cities that are expected to be the hardest hit, which includes Dallas, Fort Worth, Oklahoma City, Little Rock, Tupelo, Nashville, Charlotte, Richmond, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Washington, D.C., New York City, and Boston. So that's going on. And we have this. What's going on in space? So I'll draw this for you. I also tied climate change to changes in space, which we are seeing. Now, this comes from NASA's information. So we have the sun. We have an alignment of planets. We have Venus. We have Mars. We have also the moon right here. So this is an unusual alignment of planets, and this does occur occasionally. What is unprecedented, never seen before. That in this conjunction, the moon moved between the sun and Mars and brought about an eclipse of Mars. So if we've never seen before, we have no historic record of the moon moving between the sun and Mars. This is, I believe, a strong indicator that we are seeing amazing major changes in space. This change in space also impacts the Earth in terms of many effects, including climate changes. So that's going on. Now, on YouTube, we have Space Weather, formerly Suspicious Observers, bringing out a couple of white papers. One is regarding gravity anomalies. Changes are new information about gravity and how it fluctuates on Earth associated with time and frequency. And a second one, impacts from space on Earth's electromagnetic shield, and that tie and impact on Earth tied to fires on Earth. And we have this from Breitbart. So I'm going to begin now talking about what's going on in Minnesota that's bringing President Trump to mull about signing the Insurrection Act and bringing the military into Minnesota. So in Minnesota, we've had a second shooting. This occurred Saturday morning about 9 a.m. of a 37-year-old ICU nurse who worked for the VA, Alex Freddy. He approached a group of ICE agents who were making a targeted
16
arrest
minutes, guys, 16.
of an illegal alien who was a criminal. So ICE was in the process of arresting this illegal criminal alien. This Alex Pretty approached the group of ICE agents, and we now have verification that he did brandish a 9mm pistol. The agents then, it was a group of about 6 or 7 agents as they're trained to handle arrest. So some of them secured the illegal alien, 2 to 3 to 4, then tried to take down Alex Pretty and disarm him, but he violently resisted their takedown, and he was brandishing the weapon. According to the Liberty Daily, a slowed down version of the video that's been released shows him pulling his gun out. When he was violently resisting the ICE agents, he was shot dead. So that happened Saturday morning. Then, of course, there was this strong response by the paid commie agitators. There was an additional scuffle with ICE agents, and an agitator bit off the right ring finger of a federal agent. The individual who bit the finger off has been arrested. So we see escalating violence in Minneapolis. And now we have this. So I've reported that we have commie Dem governor of Minnesota, Waltz. We have a commie Dem mayor of Minneapolis. The shooting and the biting off of the agent's finger occurred in Minneapolis. But now the commie sway also appears to impact the court system in Minnesota. I reported recently, last Sunday, there was an attack on a church, city's church in St. Paul, Minnesota, where one of the 8 pastors, David Easterwood, is also an acting director for the local ICE office. That church had demonstrators come in there, and led by or associated with the group was Don Lemon, a former CNN anchor. Don Lemon a warrant. The Homeland Security tried to obtain a warrant for Don Lemon, but a federal judge in Minnesota said no, he was only there as a reporter and would not sign the arrest warrant. Now, other individuals had been arrested for the attack on the church, which is illegal, including Nakoma Levy Armstrong, William Kelly, and Chantil Allen. Another federal district judge in Minnesota these people were arrested, has released them all. So that's going on. So we see another reason why President Trump should consider the Insurrection Act for Minnesota. We see it's not only state and local government, but also the court system in Minnesota not supporting the federal government. And we have this about Don Lemon. 3 national organizations that accredit and give out press credentials have pulled his press credentials. So that's going on, saying they did it because he engaged in conduct that is inconsistent with journalism standards. So that's going on. And now we have this. Yeah, the Liberty Daily says he has a slowed down version of the video of the shooting of Alex Pretty, showing Pretty was brandishing, pulling out his gun against the federal agents. And also, we had a federal agent's finger bitten off. And they have very graphic video, I understand, of the bitten off finger on X. And the statement about the federal agent's finger being bitten off was made by Homeland Security spokesperson McLaughlin. So now what's going on in Mexico? We have that in the U.S. We have 37 Mexican consulate offices. So 37 Mexican offices. And it's coming out that these Mexican consulates inside the U.S. regularly manipulate U.S. elections and involve themselves in taking down or manipulating elections. And we have this. This is from Hal Turner's Intel. Mexico has 53 consulate offices in the U.S., and they are also organizing and paying the demonstrators in these protests. So we see what's going on in Minnesota. And they collude with the U.S. Democratic Political Party to manipulate elections in the U.S. and also to organize and pay protesters. So that's going on. And Mexico takes credit for doing this. So all righty. And brags about turning California and Arizona from red to blue. So Mexico, what's going on with you? Your people must not be able to recognize what is the real world in the U.S. today.
What's GovPlus? GovPlus is revolutionizing how you apply for any of these important documents.
that would infuriate
7
American
minutes, guys.
citizens. So we
Going back
have
to doing a short
also
clip.
arrests have been made between the U.S. government, U.S. Marshals, FBI, plus the of the Mexican government. So we saw 37 individuals have been arrested, including Ryan Wedding. He was a Canadian who competed in the Olympics and snowboarding in the mid 2000s. Then when he got out of that, he became a drug lord associated with Sinaloa, CJNG, plus other cartels. He and 36 other cartel individuals have been arrested inside Mexico and brought to the U.S. to stand trial. So that's going on. Let's talk about what's going on in the Middle East. So we have Israel and Iran. And it's believed that President Trump positions the U.S. military to possibly make a decisive strike on Iran, who has, we understand, now slaughtered in its streets up to 60 or 70,000 civilians who were protesting against the government. And we have from Israel, January 23, called up 280,000 reserves. And also, it's believed Israel took down strategic radar sites inside Iran in Isfahan and Shiraz. And that military analysts interpret this as a prepping move for a combined U.S.-Israel strike on Iran. And also, major airlines suddenly canceled flights over the Middle East, including Air France, KLM, United, I believe, was also in that group, and other major airlines. And we've had a joint meeting between U.S. CENTCOM and Israel. So that's going on. We have this, the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group will be in place very soon in the Middle East, along with additional carrier groups, I believe the Bush, the Lincoln, and the Roosevelt. And we've seen a major buildup of U.S. military assets in the Middle East, including Jordan and Qatar, and also fighter jets and refuelers. And we also have refuelers that move to the Moran Air Base in Spain. So that, and we also had refuelers going to the Sultan Base in Saudi Arabia. The rumor is that the B-2 stealth bombers are going to make a similar flight across the Pacific when it is time, like we saw in the Operation Midnight Hammer, when it is time to hit Iran. We also have 20 refuelers going to the Al Udeid base in Qatar. Airlines that have canceled includes Air Canada, KLM, Air France, Lufthansa, and United. Now, what do we see going on in China?
A luscious ribeye steak with a signature blend of herbs and spices.
Not over.
So, President Xi had an attempted coup made on him by his military. So we have, according to the U.S. intel rumors, that generals in the CCP military attempted to overthrow Xi. This would have happened yesterday. And many generals have been arrested, including General Yang Yuxia, plus 17 other senior generals, plus Lieutenant General General Liv Zuli, and General Zhao Tialiang, and Lieutenant General Zhang Shizhu. And yeah, so that's going on. And the coup was put down by Xi and other forces he has in the military, plus in the Chinese government. Arrest of the generals. So that would have been about 20 generals who have been arrested. And the arrests were done by parts of the Chinese government, the Ministry of Public Security, Central Security Bureau, Central Commission of Discipline, and many lieutenant generals and also major generals, and even down to division level officers are also in the process of being arrested. A U.S. Retired General Flynn says this will affect the U.S. military in the Indo-Pacific. So it's good to be in prayer for America, President Trump, the U.S. military, and world peace. I love you, and I'll see you soon.
Okay, that was today's Billy Bean. A little bit longer than normal, 26. And happy Sunday, everybody. Yep, yeah, everybody loves to listen to Billy Bean. Now we'll do some shorts. I don't think we played this one, have we? I think it's new.
Of January 24th, the year of our Lord, 2026. Just a couple of days, well, actually 2 weeks ago, on January 7th, Senator Ted Cruz, called for the impeachment of 2 rogue justices. Listen to me very carefully. Justice Boasberg and Boardman, one out of D.C. and one out of Maryland. These judges are activists, and they were appointed by Obama and Biden. More importantly, they have, let me put it to you. Let me read this to you. At the top of this is a gentleman named Alexander Hamilton talking about judicial overreach. It's from the Federalist Papers, number 81. And let me read this to you. This is from his words. Alexander Hamilton. Impeachment is a lone, complete security against the danger of judicial encroachments and judicial misconstruction of the will of the legislature. These guys, these judges, I can't really do it justice. Let me read this to you. These are activist judges, and they're all over the country, and these are part of the problem here in America. They're letting people go. They basically are not, let me put it to you this way. They're legislating from the bench, but here's the words from Senator Ted Cruz. Basically, the U.S. from Washington, D.C., this is the press release. U.S. Senator Ted Cruz, chairman of the Senate Judiciary Subcommittee on Federal Courts Oversight, Agency Action, and Federal Rights, chaired a hearing titled Impeachment, holding rogue judges accountable to address the rise of judicial warfare, lawfare, under the Biden administration. During the hearing, Senator Cruz called for the impeachment of Judges James Boasberg and Deborah Boardman for explicitly ignoring their constitutional duties. Listen to me very carefully. These are only two. There are thousands across this country that have been appointed by Obama and Biden. These are the words from Senator Cruz. The American Republic begins with a simple and radical truth. All power originates with the people. Before there is a Congress, before there is a president, before there are courts, there is the sovereign citizen. The founders placed that principle on the very first line of our national charter. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, do ordain and establish this Constitution. They did not say, we the judges, we the bureaucrats, or we the elites. They said, we the people. It continues. Judge Boasberg, under the authority of his office to authorize and then conceal the targeting of members of Congress, spying on the legislative branch, and striking at the very heart of the Constitution speech or debate clause. No republic can survive if its judges assist executive officials in surveilling the people's elected representatives. This is overreach on a massive scale. What he did is he sent a letter to the Speaker of the House for a congressional hearing and trial to be brought forward and have these judges impeached. This is the first step in seeing accountability in our judicial system for judges that are ignoring their constitutional duties. Ladies and gentlemen, I want folks to understand, I'm not an attorney, and I just have studied the law. I was on Senator Ted Cruz's campaign here in California when he ran for president, okay, back in 2016. He's brilliant, but more importantly, he knows the law. He has argued 9 cases before the Supreme Court of the United States, and he's won 5. That's unprecedented. More importantly, I want folks to understand this judicial overreach. Activist judges are all over the country. This must be handled, and there's a way to do it, and it must be done. It takes time, and it must be done with the right in the right context. You just can't start willy-nilly firing judges, okay? There's other senators that say, well, just appeal their judgment. Listen to me very carefully. These are rogue justices. Rogue judges. They don't care about the rule of law. They're legislating from the bench. Basically, they're not following the Constitution and not, I guess what you might say, performing the duties according to their duties according to the Constitution. These judges, these two judges, Boasberg and Boardman, there's going to be a trial come down, and they're going to be impeached. And then once that sets a precedence, you will see more and more of this over the next couple of years. Watch what happens. The wheels of justice turn slow. Be patient, everybody. Things are going to start to happen, and you will see the president and his administration and people fighting for you like me and Senator Ted Cruz and many of the Republicans in Congress trying to get this country pointed back in the right direction and build a nation that we used to love back to a nation that we're going to love again and trust again. Please go to preservingamericaepac.com. Watch our documentaries about Marxist political warfare. You can watch them for free, all 4 of them. I'm an authority on political warfare, and what we're seeing is judges, Marxist activists, Marxist judges, Marxist congressmen and senators waging political warfare on this country to take this nation and turn it into their America. They want to take ownership of this country, and they want to be just like China's government, a one-party system, and they don't give a damn about the rule of law or what it takes. Listen to me very carefully. To them, this is war, and we have to defend and preserve our country. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what Senator Ted is trying to do. Senator Ted Cruz is trying to do, and many, many people that you don't hear them about. You're not hearing that. That's a major component of Marxist political warfare. Keep information from you. That's what I'm trying to bring to you. God bless. Stay informed.
Okay, that's what's his name there from TikTok. He does a good job. We found him a little bit a few weeks ago. Well, I got 3 2-minute clips for JJ. I don't know if she has internet because certain parts of Australia got bad weather. So I'm going to play 3.
Well, isn't that?
From Texas to West Virginia, more than 800,000 people are without major winter snowstorms swept across the United States. It's turned deadly, though. At least 2 people have died. Thousands of flights have been cancelled, and weather emergencies have been declared in multiple states.
Heavy snow and sleet pummeling New Mexico up through New England as a massive storm hits more than half the country. Forecasters say places like Philadelphia, New York, and Boston could see as much as a foot of snow.
Now, this storm is not only bringing snow with it, it carries temperatures colder than any sustained period this city has experienced for 8 years.
While across the South, ice is the biggest threat.
Sometimes it looks just like the pavement is wet, but it's not. It's ice. It's a sheet of ice.
In Texas and Louisiana, tens of thousands lost power. And officials warn those numbers could climb as temperatures plunge due to a polar vortex.
An inch of ice can knock down power lines, right? Power outages and trees coming down. Absolutely treacherous situation.
In the Midwest, wind chills drop to as low as minus 40 degrees, meaning frostbite could set in within 10 minutes.
If you have exposed skin, you'll start noticing that skin's going to be uncomfortable. It may start turning red. That's the time to quickly get out of the cold.
Multiple governors declared a state of emergency, and hundreds of National Guard troops have been activated to help stranded drivers. For those flying this weekend, airlines have canceled at least 10,000 flights through Monday.
Anything like this that really disrupts the system takes a few days to get out of, and especially a storm of this size hitting so many different areas.
Okay, that was the first one. That was a big update there.
Many officials are disputing and instead calling for the removal of ICE agents from Minneapolis.
Federal agents shot and killed a man near Nicollet and 26th Street in South Minneapolis around 9 Saturday morning, following weeks of tensions over a surge in ICE enforcement actions. The shooting, which was recorded on video from several angles, was the 3rd shooting involving federal immigration agents in Minneapolis this month. An agent shot and killed Renee Good on January 7th.
If the goal was to achieve peace and safety, this is doing exactly the opposite.
Like, what's happening is terrifying. It's very, very scary. You think this could happen to me. I could be filming a deportation and I could end up dead.
So today, federal agents beat and then shot multiple times and killed 37-year-old Alex Jeffrey Preddy, a U.S. citizen, a Minneapolis resident, and a VA nurse.
The Department of Homeland Security says Border Patrol agents were looking for an undocumented man wanted for a violent assault when Preddy approached the agents with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun, which he has a legal permit to carry.
This individual went and impeded their law enforcement operations, attacked those officers, had a weapon on him, and dozens of rounds of ammunition, wishing to inflict harm on these officers, coming brandishing like that and impeding their work that they were doing.
Video.
I was getting that whistle blowing, so I'll just do two of them. Okay, Kim, I got a 3-minute one on TikTok from Doug. Oh, what happened?
Biden White House officials are called in by James Comer to answer for the auto pen scandal. This is getting good. It's starting. They're getting more narrow. They're bringing people in, and they will rat each other out, and we will show you some of their legal documents, some of the workings of how this works. Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the happy patriots are. As we look at the greatest, what's being called the greatest scandal in modern American history, the auto pen scandal. Who was the president? Who was making the decisions for so many signed documents that were positive that Biden couldn't have read them all? So we don't know if he was in charge or not. Here's Comer on Fox News.
The House Oversight Committee is investigating the cover-up of Biden's cognitive decline as 4 former Biden aides agreed to transcribed interviews. Joining me now is
Okay, hold on. Before we move on, we're going to hear from that lady on the left. Neera Tanden is one of the White House members of the Biden aides who has prepared a legal document, and I'll read that at the end.
overseeing it all, Kentucky Congressman and the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, James Comer. Mr. Chairman, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. I want to get your take on something the president said this week, and that is saying we're looking into who was in control of the auto pen, whether it be Lisa Monaco or someone else. Now, Lisa Monaco, of course, was the deputy attorney general. What do you know about this?
Well, we know that there are sources that say that she had a big impact on making decisions as to which documents would be placed into the auto pen. What we've identified first are the 4 employees that we believe manually put documents into the auto pen, pressed the power button, and signed Joe Biden's name on them.
Guilty.
Next batch of people that we're going to bring in are people like Ron Klain, and we'll get to the names that the president has mentioned as well. Everyone that we've sent notice to that we expect them to testify has agreed to testify thus far, except the doctor, and I've subpoenaed him. You can come in voluntarily, and things work out a whole lot better than if you have to come in via subpoena. So I think this investigation is progressing, and all the concerns that President Trump raised will be addressed in these transcribed interviews and depositions.
I mean, I've got the letter from 2024 from Dr. O'Connor pertaining to Joe Biden's health, and there's absolutely no mention of any cognitive decline, and there's no mention of any prostate cancer, which, of course, the Bidens released and told the public after the Robert Hur tapes were released, which was obviously a tape showing Biden's cognitive decline. I want to get your take on that and what you make of that. And also this new information that we've got, that there were 3 different auto pens, auto pen A, B, and C.
Yeah, that's accurate. And, there's more information that's
not 1, not 2, not.
Okay, that was a short one there from Doug so far today. 3 auto pens. How can you get 3 of them? Okay, the first short one is going to be 3.5. Let me know and I'll stop it. That gets you guys' help on the video. So pretty good, I think. Thought that was good. At least there was no music. I think I got another 4-minute one here. Okay, can you drop the, I don't know if that's going to help or not, the links and then Cash App, please? Thanks.
The time she wouldn't talk to us, and one of the reasons I wanted to bring this up to her is because someone was hearing her voice, ventriloquism.
It's been done to me, and I don't know why. I don't know who is doing it, what the purpose.
Did they stop it? Well, I guess I can't play that one. All right, see what we got here.
Going war zone, but maybe that's what he wants because they keep saying things like this.
What? Oh, they're having trouble. I'll try that again. See if it'll work this time.
And she wouldn't talk to us, and one of the reasons I wanted to bring this up to her is because someone was hearing her voice, ventriloquism.
It's been done to me.
Hi, the weather.
And I don't know why. I don't know who is doing it, what the purpose is.
Anyone
now
see
watch
this one?
this, because what he just described might explain something that was caught on camera during a U.S. House hearing. Look at the woman standing behind Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett and pay close attention to what happens when she speaks.
First, I wanted to introduce into the record page 55 from the committee's interview with FBI employee Roya Demlow, who you just spoke about, which took place on July 17, 2023. They would be representing what I said because I don't have much knowledge of that. They would be misrepresenting.
All you have to do is use voice morphing.
This Harvard scientist exposes claims about CIA mind control weapons still being used today. And what you're about to witness might explain far more about the world we're living in than most people realize.
But if you cognitively model someone, you have a brain print, like a fingerprint. And if you use autocorrelation techniques, and there's a way, and we'll just kind of wave our hand, functional MRI that you can do at a distance over the earth, you have every human being's brain pattern. You can control 8 billion brains on the planet, potentially. Read them.
Scientists and military researchers have spent decades studying how the brain responds to energy, sound, and stress, often in ways most people never hear about. The idea of neuroweapons and mind control sits in that shadowed space where advanced science meets secrecy. One of the people raising these questions is Robert Duncan, a Harvard-educated scientist with a background in advanced defense research. What makes his warning unsettling isn't what can be proven on paper, but what leaves no visible trace at all. Think about it. If the battlefield had truly shifted inward, then the most dangerous weapon may be the one you never know is there. For instance, Some people say the sound didn't come from outside at all. It didn't travel through the air or enter through the ears. It felt internal, as if the brain itself was being triggered to hear something that wasn't there in the usual way. This idea has a name that sounds unsettling even before you understand it. Voice to skull.
And so if you're programming someone to go after, let's say, a political target, all you have to do is use voice morphing and pipe in the tortures, the pains, and 24 hours, make it a artificial intelligent chatterbot too. And you'll drive the person crazy. The news, the mass news media will just write them out. Oh, they're crazy.
At first, it's easy to dismiss. Hearing sounds without external noise is often associated with mental illness. And for years, that's exactly how many of these claims were treated. But a small group of scientists have pointed out something uncomfortable. There was a documented phenomenon, studied decades ago, where certain types of pulse radio frequency energy can create the perception of sound inside the head. This is known as the microwave auditory effect, or the Frey effect.
There's something called the Frey effect. The Army had it on their website called V2K, and that's how a lot of people refer to it, that can pipe voices into someone's head. You can't plug your ears. It actually vibrates the brain, which is like many concussions, through the small pulses that expand the tissue and then contracts it, then goes to the inner ear where they can hear it. If you just turn that up, causes brain damage. You're heating the brain. So there are a lot of ways, and a weapon, for example, that I think is reclassified now, but it was done at the University of Nevada as a non-lethal weapon that resonates the dopamine cells of your brain, producing cells of your brain, and it floods it. Now, it worked. The Air Force reclassified it.
The brain can register sound without the ears even being involved. That single fact changes the tone of the conversation. What once sounded impossible now sits in an uneasy space between science and speculation. For people already experiencing unexplained symptoms, this possibility feels less like theory and more like a clue that refuses to go away. And this is where the story stops being abstract. Reports tied to what later became known as Havana syndrome describe clusters of symptoms that didn't fit neatly into familiar diagnoses.
That incapacitates the adversary. I tried to speak with.
Okay, I thought that was an important short clip. See where I'm at now. I think I got to do the TikTok ladies. I got a few of hers. I'll get to Benny's videos here shortly. All right. Here's one. Not sure on either, you guys. Let me know on this one.
Conversation occurred in celestial dimensions. 3 angels met to discuss your case. The first spoke with genuine confusion. I've observed millions of souls for eons. I've never seen a soul transit between states maintaining intact purity. This defies everything I understand about how corruption works. The second added, the laws are clear. Contact with darkness causes irreversible contamination. But this chosen one is proving the law has an exception we never documented. Either the laws are incomplete, or this human being is operating under principles that transcend the laws we know. And the third shared, I touched darkness once.
This is pretty
It
good.
took me 1,000 years of
played it
purification
already.
to recover a fraction of light. This human enters, uses devastating power, and exits in seconds without stain. It's impossible according to my experience. Silence. 3 angels of immense wisdom had just admitted that a human being was doing something they don't understand. The first spoke what they all were thinking. We need to accept an uncomfortable truth. This chosen one possesses a capacity we don't have. Can transit between light and darkness because they grew up in a world where both coexist. Developed immunity that we, created in pure light, will never develop. In this specific aspect, this human being is more evolved than us. Devastating admission. An angel recognizing that a human has a capacity he doesn't possess. The second added, and if this chosen one can do this, there are probably others. Perhaps an entire generation of chosen ones is developing this capacity, which means we're witnessing human evolution. that transcends angelic limitations. And the third concluded, if integrated humans can do what we can't, then the spiritual hierarchy we've assumed for eons needs to be reconsidered. Perhaps chosen ones with integrated duality are the next level of evolution. A level we can't reach because we were designed as pure light, without capacity to integrate
What do you
darkness.
guys think on this
The
one?
conversation ended with consensus. Monitor chosen ones like you closely, not because of threat, but because of fascination. They're witnessing evolution that defies everything they thought they knew. Your true power isn't your light side. It isn't your dark side. It's the wisdom of knowing when to use each one without corrupting yourself. Demons can only destroy. They have total darkness but lost light. They only know annihilation. They can't heal. They can't create. They can't genuinely love. Angels can only create. They have total light but never developed a relationship with darkness. They only know compassion. They can't protect adequately. They can't destroy what needs to be destroyed. They can't establish lethal boundaries, but you have both. And the wisdom of when to use each one. When a situation requires healing, you activate light. You offer compassion. You forgive. You help. You elevate. You create. When a situation requires protection, you activate darkness. You establish boundaries. You cut bonds. You destroy threats. You protect. You eliminate obstacles. And you never lose access to one when you use the other. That fluidity makes you unstoppable. Emotional predators encounter your dark side, protecting you. Genuine people encounter your light side, receiving them. You're adaptable in ways that beings of a single state can never be. You're complete in ways that pure light or pure darkness will never achieve. And here's the most devastating part. Your completeness comes from having been born in a fallen world. It comes from having experienced pain. The experiences you thought were curses were exactly what gave you capacity that not even angels possess. Your pain was your training. Your darkness was your mastery. Angels were created in perfection. They don't have scars that create wisdom. They don't have experience with shadows that creates immunity. They're pure but fragile light, perfect but limited. You were forged in imperfection. You have scars that tell stories. You have experience with shadows that created resistance. You're imperfect but resilient light. Imperfect but complete. And imperfect completeness is more powerful than limited perfection, because it can operate in all terrains, can navigate all scenarios, can respond to all threats. That's evolution that transcends angels. That's mastery that scares celestial beings. That's power that only chosen ones with integrated duality possess. 72 hours ago, after
Okay, that was a new one I've never seen before. A few more short ones, and then we'll get going on the other ones. I'm going to see if I can play this one again.
War zone, but maybe that's what he wants because they keep saying things like this.
The deployment of thousands of armed mass DHS agents to Minnesota has done our state serious harm. This is, in essence, a federal invasion of the Twin Cities and Minnesota.
So what is it Jacob Frey really trying to hide and protect? So his wife is Sarah Clark, and she worked for the Hilden Advocacy and Law that provided legal and lobbying representation to Feeding Our Future, a $250 million food aid fraud. And Hilden is also listed as a paid lobbyist on a Somali museum founded by Osman Ali, a museum that received $4.5 million months after the owner pleaded guilty to fraud. And even when you look at the other things that she's lobbying for, it's utter woke nonsense. I'll show you some examples. At least 8 people named in the indictment donated $1,000, the maximum allowable contribution to his mayoral campaign. All right, so you hang around with fraudsters, you become one. Mayor Jacob Frey was close with the co-owner of the Safari restaurant, which we visited. It got shut down, and of course, there's another restaurant opened up there now. As his key link to the Somalian community, and senior aide Abdi Salah is his brother. They were central to the Feeding Our Future scandal that robbed taxpayer money intended for hungry children. Here you can see him proudly announcing some type of event that they were having.
30 to 9 p.m. at Safari Restaurant. Wa habenki shaha iyo sheikada Muganina.
So 3 of Mayor Frey's appointees were federally indicted, and yet this man's just walking free, roaming around inciting violence against ICE agents.
He's a
So
new
here you
one,
can
I
see
found.
some of the things that his wife lobbied for. The one that caught my eye was gender justice. Their website says that they are creating a world where everyone can thrive no matter their gender. And I have to say, a lot of the websites of the raids and operations in other cities, without it
That was a good short clip. Yeah, I got 4 short ones I'm going to play here. Our TikTok lady.
Free flights, free buses, free hotels, free meals, free phones, all paid for by taxpayers. And why? Because dependency creates loyalty. You import a population and make sure they know exactly which party is providing the benefits. Next, you make sure they stay at all costs. Even when serious crimes are involved, enforcement suddenly becomes optional. That's why leaders in Minnesota have resisted cooperating with ICE in certain cases involving illegal immigrants. They are now your trusted voting bloc. You have to protect them. And the way you flip the script when pressed on cooperating with ICE, you label anyone who wants these laws enforced a racist. Deportation now becomes a dirty word.
But as somebody who understands history, when I see ICE, I see slave patrols. Now, I never lived through the slave patrol period, but if you know the history of policing in this country, then you understand that they were born out of slave patrols.
This is what happens when they no longer hide the idea of white supremacy.
Democrats also offer incentives. This attracts illegal immigrants to sanctuary cities where they refuse to cooperate with ICE.
The California lawmakers just passed a law giving government assistance to undocumented immigrants to buy houses.
Oh, they're good.
Well, it's not free housing. It's the American dream being available to more people.
Well, let me ask you about her running mate, Tim Walz. He signed into law initiatives allowing undocumented immigrants to apply for driver's licenses, free tuition at public universities, and enroll in the state's free healthcare program for low-income residents.
Then comes the power grab. This is the one most people never hear about. You count non-citizens in the census, which determines congressional apportionment. As of 2024, that would translate into 13 extra seats in the House. 13. That is massive political power without a single legal vote being cast. And finally, you lock it all in with lawfare campaigns to rewrite state voting laws. You have mass mail-in ballots.
We do want to have vote by mail because we think it is, it again removes the obstacles.
Next, you prioritize the needs of non-citizens over American citizens.
Yeah,
free flights, free hotels, free meals, free phone.
I didn't play yet. I haven't seen any other ones yet today. Yeah, I think I'm caught up with her. All right. See where we're at here. Couple bennies here. $11 minutes.
What's up, guys? It's Ben A. In case you were wondering how every left-wing violent terrorist is able to know precisely where ICE enforcement is happening in Minneapolis, and look no further than this report from Cam Higbee. Also, how does every single left-wing orc know where independent journalists are so they can attack them, like James O'Keefe or Nick Sotor? Well, this is exactly how they are highly organized and illegally coordinating in order to stop federal lawful law enforcement. This is something that you could charge, by the way, under the KKK Act. You could prosecute this because this is precisely what they ended up trying to throw Proud Boys in prison for that weren't even at January 6th because they were on chats and text messages talking about disrupting federal forces. And that people got 22 years in prison for this. Is this one of the biggest bombshell reports in history? Check this out from Cam Higbee. I've infiltrated the organization's signal groups all around Minneapolis. The sole intention of tracking down federal agents, impeding, assaulting, and obstructing them. Buckle up, all will be revealed. Each and every area of the city has several signals. Let's start. Signal, of course, if you're unfamiliar, is a chat platform that allows people to chat with each other in an encrypted way. And in a way that, well, has the illusion of security, but it really isn't. Each area of the city has a signal. Let's start with the screen recording of the members of the South Side group. And so he is going out, Cam Higbee, independent journalist, is going out and exposing these people. Minneapolis Signal Chat infiltrated. I have undercover inside these groups for days. You'll notice the emojis next to people's names. Here's a key for what these emojis mean. Look at how coordinated this is. License plate checker, aftercare provider, dispatch, mobile patrol, foot patrol. Look at these people. These are just straight up organized communist insurrectionists, like true insurrectionists. Minneapolis Signal infiltrated. For each occupation or shift position, protesters have undergone training. Who pays for this? It's unclear what their training entails, other than numerous slides of instructions. It's been mentioned repeatedly. Who is paying for this? Minneapolis Signal infiltrated. Each chat for a specific part of the city, the smaller districts are broken up into what is called patrol zones. Each guide has ICE chasers where they go down and chase federal forces. Minneapolis Signal, this is how you get like shootings like Rebecca Good, like you get people who are interfering with law enforcement, they're in these little group chat, they're like these little committed Marxists. They refuse to cooperate with law enforcement when they're apprehended, and they bring weapons. They try and kill law enforcement with their cars or with, as you saw yesterday, a gun, firearm. Here's a screen recording of the plate database as well, and instructions how to track license plates. Here's a screenshot of an active dispatch call. It's always active, as well as a shift change. You can see folks changing their emojis, clocking in and out. I'll attach below a video. This is extremely sophisticated. Pay attention to all of this. Look at this. A new group chat for each zone is made each day. The chats are dated and deleted at the end of each day, likely to avoid detection, record keeping, and consequences. Midday, the group chat has a maximum capacity of 1,000 people. Crazy. Here's more dispatch chatter where they tweak out when they discover a vehicle. Whistles and horns can be heard in the background. Dispatcher asks for photos and videos of each plate for documentation purposes. Protesters use a mutual aid system. I tried to join the mutual aid in Bloomington. An admin told me that it was a vetted chat for teachers and that I'd need to describe my relationship with a school for the teachers of the. So all the teachers are in on this. ICE operations go all night. Coordinators frequently delete messages to cover their tracks. This is another layer of security on top of data chats. There is an admin for each of these several chats, generally consists of code names. Wow. And they're getting help from the state, obviously. Are you really surprised that the signal gate goes back to Waltz? It is he and Frey that encouraged exactly what they are doing. That's right, he and the mayor of Minneapolis. Alex Preddy was a member of the insurgency coordinated on Signal. This is Signal Gate. You can see here the man killed by federal agent was in the ICE neighborhood watch group. Yes, he was called there as a violent soldier in order to attack ICE. This is the point of this group. Alex Preddy is on the Signal conspiracy, highly organized ICE rapid response group. Observers are there to call ICE and to disrupt them. This is exactly what they're doing. Highly recommend that you don't do that. FBI threats following the expose of their Signal group. I'm going to find you. It's personal, you and me. There you go. Now they're threatening Cam Higbee with death for exposing them. Signal response to me exposing all they have. Right-wingers got a hold of some docs. I got to take some links out of the description and hide some things. If you have plate checking questions, ask or DM me. Who's checking these plates? In order to run a plate check, you've got to have access to law enforcement license plate technology, license plate reader technology. They have that because they're working with the police department. The Marxists in Minneapolis are working with the police department. Wow. Now they're sending PR talking points. They're incredibly organized. He was trained by the Signal Group. They knew how to obstruct ICE arrests. We know somebody is feeding the protester license plate information connected to the Signal app. We were working on that government official's name. They will be outed as soon as we find them. That's right. Somebody's working with federal law enforcement reading plate technology. Don't stop making
we had two
her famous until she's arrested.
too.
Minnesota anti-ICE Signal Group leader who's been coordinating ICE riots is Amanda Kohler. She is a paid protester and organizer in the Minnesota State Senate candidate. She was a campaign strategist for Tim Walz, because of course it goes back to Tim Walz. You can show people the video of the armed Antifa terrorists conducting an illegal roadblock and interfering with federal law enforcement. Produce the signal comms, and they will still tell you that Antifa doesn't exist. Political violence. Signal Minneapolis isn't sending, don't shoot police wearing neon. Additionally, military troops are not Nazi feds. Don't shoot them. Just shoot everyone else. Look at this.
Sundays just got a whole lot better. This new Live Millions promo is insane.
Did someone say millions?
About 3 minutes.
My goodness.
I'll go to at least 5:30.
So like, don't, our guard members will wear neon reflective vests and they'll be close to the Minneapolis Police Department. Just make sure that you take out the feds. This is what the city of Minneapolis is saying. Everyone in the Signal community needs to be charged with conspiracy to impede or injure officers. Precisely. That's exactly correct. This would actually hurt. This is what you should, and this is what you must do. If the CIA actually does run Signal, which I believe that it does, I think it was created by the CIA, you have to do this. Tim Walz's employees are directly coordinating with riot efforts through Signal chats, and Minnesota is in a state of open rebellion. It's important for the federal authorities to hammer Minneapolis. I know this is scary that Tim Walz gave the Signal Group access, the voter database in Minnesota. Wow. Look at this. Now people are naming and shaming. Meet Mark Green, Minneapolis. Mark is a planner for Target and a CPA tax manager. In their free time, Mark and Gretchen like to travel, spend time with their pets, and occasionally participate in impeding and obstructing federal agents in the Signal Group. I wonder what Target thinks about that. That's right. Elon Musk saying, wow, this threat is sobering. The right wing has nothing like this anywhere in the country for any purpose. Pay attention to this. You might find the daughter of a certain governor in one of these groups. Oops, I've said too much. That's right. Violent Minneapolis communist signal network has been infiltrated and exposed. Great thread reporting how thousands are part of a conspiracy in Minnesota using aliases on Signal to plan violent criminal conspiracies. Been revealed in multiple state and federal court cases involving Antifa. Signal is the app where they plan their terrorist directions and reserved for smaller cells for people to be recruited in real life encounters. This is actually a terrorist network. Yes. If you didn't believe that this was an elaborately organized, funded operation, hopefully this will change your mind. Civil war has already started. Too many people refuse to acknowledge it. All of the Minneapolis Signal chats have been leaked. This account, 0 Hours, excellent account. Really, really smart research and investigations. And it looks like he is going through all of the receipts here and exposing people and naming them, shaming them, and hopefully destroying their lives. Goodness gracious. These are the people
I got one more
that are attacking your federal authorities on behalf of criminal alien rapists, fraudsters, and murderers. The feds are all in here. That's right. Freak out a little bit more.
Happy Sunday.
They have help from the state. This is what this proves. They have help from the state of Minnesota. The state of Minnesota is an active, open rebellion, confederacy, and insurrection. You have to have the Insurrection Act now. It's the only way to shut this down. Pray for all of our friends who are up there. I was planning on going, but I don't know, man. The block's getting really hot. I saw what happened to James O'Keefe yesterday. Anyway, pray for James O'Keefe. Nick Sotor, Nick Shirley, Cam Higbee, and all the other patriots who are up there trying to cover the sunken and fallen, failed state of Minnesota.
Okay, we'll get 2 Bennies in today, and 2 Trish, and then 2 other ones. Okay.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. You have to see what is happening in Minneapolis as a show of force by the communist left. This isn't something that's happening in any other city in America. It's not something that's inspiring big anti-ICE marches anywhere else in the country. They have zeroed in on Minneapolis. It is a disturbance. It is an op that is being played out in front of us that is meant to take a single city, to show how powerful they are in a single place, to show that there is no law and order left. And if they can take over a single city, then they can inspire that perhaps to cascade into others. As of right now, this is the left's last stand. The left thought they had won in culture. And quite frankly, I think that they had really done a great job of taking over every institution in America. Now that they have seen their power diminish, decay, and be in jeopardy, they are staging a deadly last stand in Minneapolis. And James O'Keefe just learned that. Look at this. You can see a new Chaz chop that is being created in an autonomous zone 2.0 that they are building out, where they're stating this is our city. Law enforcement will not be allowed to come here. We exist outside of American law. This is something that J.D. Vance has said, by the way. This level of engineered chaos is unique to Minneapolis. You know, Minneapolis has very, very low ICE enforcement and engagement and deportations in comparison to many other big American cities. Large American cities like Phoenix, Los Angeles, New York, cities in Florida, cities in Texas see enormous amounts of ICE activity. It is actually, Minneapolis is de minimis. Yet this is where all the chaos, horror, and murder is happening. What I mean by that is attempted murder of federal agents. And so J.D. Vance is calling it out, saying this is a direct consequence of far-left agitators working with local authorities. J.D. Vance understands the assignment. When I visited Minnesota, what ICE agents wanted more than anything is to work with local law enforcement so the situations on the ground don't get out of hand. Local leadership in Minnesota has refused to answer. They have refused to answer. And obviously, you had another death yesterday. We're lucky that James O'Keefe is alive, quite frankly. He is in Minnesota. Every left-wing paid agitator in the world, seemingly, is in Minnesota right now. And they are coming for James O'Keefe. Check this out. Minneapolis mob threatens to kill O'Keefe. Ice bottles thrown, followed, and O'Keefe's media group under attack. My team and I are in downtown Minneapolis right now. We still have undercover reporters inside of the mob. I was at the scene of the shooting this morning and barely made it out alive. Hundreds surrounded us. They were throwing ice bottles, ripping off bulletproof vests. They followed us all the way back to our hotel. All of this was happening. We received death threats via text. Let's go ahead and look at this text. Look at this. We know that you're in Minneapolis. You're with O'Keefe and his Nazis. You're in the white Ford license plate. This is the license plate from Florida. You have 1 hour to leave or you're dead. Look at that. How are they getting license plate readers? This must actually be a full-scale coordinated attack and attempt at James O'Keefe's life with law enforcement assistance. That's what's been wild over the last couple of revelations about this. We're going to be covering this all day. That there's clearly law enforcement assisting in the attacks on journalists and on federal authorities. You are witnessing a wholesale total insurrection here. The tools of the state in Minnesota being used against the federal government. It is a total and complete confederacy there. They are behaving outside of American law. And Tim Walz demanding that Donald Trump remove federal forces from his state yesterday. This is what's been going on, and it's happening at scale.
6 minutes.
Here we go. Let's go ahead and listen to and read a little bit more of what James O'Keefe experienced yesterday. This is a wild post. It's gone thermonuclear viral. It's 31,000 repost, 85,000 likes, 3 million views for a reason. Let's go ahead and listen here, ladies and gentlemen, and then we'll play you some of James's videos. I've never experienced anything quite like today in my life. I've interacted with cartels and I've witnessed some crazy things in the desert in 24. I don't even know what he's talking about there, but that's interesting. What strikes me about how organized these agitators are in Minneapolis, they have spotters everywhere in the city and in the suburbs, on street corners, even 30 minutes away from downtown. They have people at hotels that work with them to signal to them, which making it difficult for us to lose our tail, which was when our cover was blown. James O'Keefe posting here that they had a tail all day. Yesterday in Minneapolis, I was driving around. I was followed by multiple vehicles over an hour. We were told that we came up on local ICE watch groups, ICE database. You can hear us confirm multiple times that we are not ICE. At one point, they asked for our IDs to see who we were. Insane network they have running here. Look at this. So here they're getting followed around Minneapolis because of these group chats that are meant to track ICE. And look at this. It's like a paramilitary group that's showing up, hunting them, demanding their IDs. Is that wild? Anyway, let's go ahead and continue here from James. They have people at hotels that work with them, signal them, which make it difficult for us to lose our tail. Usually I lose a tail, not this time. We switched locations 3 times. I recorded and posted while I was leaving the autonomous zone while they were still surveilling. We all agreed we must make the threats public as soon as possible, even if we had people still in the field with hidden cameras. Listen to this, this gets crazy. Earlier around noon, while Cam Higbee releases a report on the signal threads, we'll cover that, I was inside what appeared to be a fully autonomous zone. No police presence. The police were told to leave. I identified myself as the press, and they said that they will kill press if we did not leave. My skin was fully covered because it was so cold, but because I couldn't verify who I was, they screamed and started throwing ice bottles at us. One hit my bodyguard, Marine at the time, they patted my bodyguard down like they were the authorities, attempting to confiscate any weapons. And they were set to destroy our vehicle before we even got into it. I will have a full video shortly. But the bigger picture here, and more important, is I am angry. Not at the agitators. I find myself angry at the people who don't understand what they're dealing with. It's like a simulation out in the suburbs. I believe the American people need to wake up. The moment we've been warning about, we're headed for. Fear pushes people to care only about their money and families. I get it. But fear turns inward. Self-preservation and greed replace moral courage. Evil ignored. Ironically and incredibly, I see that these communists do not fear death in the same way that many good people do. The only thing that these communists fear is exposure itself. Good news, because we're about to bring exposure. I'm deadly serious about investigating the prosecutors themselves, and I don't hold these Minnesota fraudsters, violent monsters accountable for what they're doing. Stay tuned for more videos, says James. Okay. Wild stuff. I've attended many different forms of leftist protests. O'Keefe is exactly right. The anti-ICE protesters are the most vicious, and they assaulted at one in Denver earlier today. This is who we're dealing with in Minneapolis. Wow, says Elon Musk. These death threats, they're able to track the vehicles. That means that they are empowered by the state of Minnesota with vehicle tracking technology that you can only find like inside of a police department. You know, the bodyguard, James, I'm in. Hit me up. So this is what we've been calling the Insurrection Act to be invoked. Left wing is out for blood. Ruthless streets in Minneapolis. I just don't think that you understand the level to which they are using state resources now to track down and hunt ICE and to hunt independent journalists. The way to discern the good guys from the bad guys is malicious intent. This is malicious intent. When Antifa can track, tail, and threaten James O'Keefe into hiding, it's not a protest, it's organized terror. This is a violent Marxist organized attack. Local officials appear unconcerned and are potentially involved. Send in the National Guard, says Senator Mike Lee. As much as I don't want it for my family or friends, war is coming. We cannot exist peacefully with violent Marxists. There is no First Amendment in Minneapolis. They will hunt you down. Pray for James O'Keefe. All right. They've infiltrated the Signal chat in Minneapolis. Many names are being revealed right now. Many state officials very close with Tim Walz are being revealed. Are you surprised that this all goes back to Tim Walz? They know exactly what they're doing. Remember that guy that kept murdering Tim Walz's political enemies? Boy, it all starts to make sense now, doesn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, here's James O'Keefe's report from inside of Minneapolis. It's just a very short report explaining to you what happened to him and how he's never seen anything like it.
This is James O'Keefe in downtown Minneapolis. We have a team of undercover reporters still inside the mob. I was at the scene of the shooting, covering it this morning, and basically we barely got out of there alive. There were a few hundred that surrounded us, started throwing ice bottles at us. A few hit us, hit our vehicle. They were starting to rip off my bulletproof vest, so we got out of there. We were followed.
I'm going to do 2 5-minute
and here we are right now. We just got this message, and it says, we know that you're in Minneapolis. You're with O'Keefe and his crew of Nazis. You're in a white Ford license plate. They actually wrote the license plate down from Florida. You have 1 hour to leave or you're dead. You have 1 hour to leave or you're dead. We are going to produce our footage, gathering everything we've got from this weekend. We're going to put our report together along with the hidden camera footage that we have. We still have undercover people in the field. Please pray for my team's safety. This is worse than anything I could have possibly imagined. I have security with me, former Marine, and he said that it was worse than overseas, and it was certainly anything worse than I've seen the cartel at the border. We're going to contact law enforcement, DHS, and the FBI, and we're going to try to get out of here safely so we can bring the news to you. Stay tuned for our...
Okay, we got 2 5-minutes. Starting to get tired.
Don't do it for the honors. Best law firm.
Actually, it's 4 minutes.
Mayor this morning. She said every DPW crew available is out on the job right now. This is really what.
Another minute. I think this is this New York? Yeah, I think it's New York. Yeah. Okay, one more. Last one for today, you guys. I just saw this lady, so I popped it up. She just came on. It's a 5-minute clip.
The hardest working software in television. Get started today at mountain.com.
Democrats cannot keep acting like these are normal times in our country. That's my response to
Oh,
you.
wait.
I voted against the DHS funding bill on the House.
She's a Democrat. I'll play one more. I'll see which one I can end it on. Let's play this one. See if I can make it 15 minutes, you guys.
Hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's the meme of the day brought to you by 5mind.com. Okay, so here's a bombshell that it appears the mainstream media is not interested in covering at all. And actually, this is very similar to what we saw with Renee Good. Her father-in-law came in and basically used to jump on the narrative that she was a victim of a nice murder. We got an article here from the Post-Millennial. They're reporting that the parents of the rioter Alex Jeffrey Petty, the individual who was shot by CBP in Minnesota, have now revealed to the media that they warned their son not to engage with the feds. The left is presenting this story as unbelievable. How could this happen? But it appears even his own parents could see it from a mile away. The risks involved here, what could potentially happen if you engage in violent obstructionist behavior. They warned him not to do it, and then he did it. And even worse, he did it while he was armed with a deadly weapon. Let me show you guys the latest report, and then of course, let's continue to dismantle all these left-wing nonsense narratives. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so I got a little snippet from the article here. Quote, he cared about people deeply, and he was very upset with what was happening in Minneapolis and throughout the United States with ICE, as millions of other people are upset. Michael Preddy, Alex's father, said he felt that doing the protesting was a way to express that, his care for others. In recent conversations with the 37-year-old son, Preddy's parents had told him not to engage with federal officers. We had this discussion with him 2 weeks ago or so, that go ahead and protest, but do not engage, do not do anything stupid, basically, Michael Preddy added per CBS News. And he said that he knows that, he knew that. They literally warned him not to do the exact thing that he did. Because like most people who are rational human beings, you understand the risk when you're poking the bear, especially doing so again with a deadly weapon. Well, you could earn a very stupid prize. You could pay the ultimate price. And so what happened here is obviously this guy ignored some very sober advice, the proper advice from his parents who of course loved him and didn't want to see him harmed. And he put himself on the front line in a deadly situation and paid the price. But of course, we're headed towards an election year. And so that simply cannot be the conclusion drawn here. No, instead, Minneapolis has to burn down once more, another autonomous zone. Here we go with all the leftoids, all the Democrat politicians now adding more fuel to the fire. This guy didn't engage in multiple felonies while armed, while carrying a concealed weapon without any identification or his required legal permit, while violently resisting arrest, physically assaulting ICE, physically assaulting CBP agents, and no warning that he was carrying a deadly weapon either. No, the left wants to blame tyranny. You know, there's a whole lot of things to blame here, and most of them, I would argue, land on this Alex Preddy character. But according to the left, it's fascism, of course, the tyranny narrative, and you're seeing it everywhere. AOC's out here saying, we have a responsibility to protect Americans from tyranny. It's actually incredible how little ethics these people have, how absolutely disgusting this is. And of course, you know, this rhetoric serves nothing but emboldening the disgusting people that we're seeing on the streets and engaging in violent rhetoric online.
It's time to suit up, boots on the ground, show up, ready to go. Okay, not talking about peaceful protests anymore. We're not talking about having polite conversations anymore. This is exactly what I said was going to happen. This is exactly what I said was going to come when we didn't go and march on Whipple with guns. Sorry, but welcome to America 2026, where Second Amendment is the only thing that's going to keep you protected from literal Nazi gunmen that are killing innocent people in the street with impunity. Get your guns and stop these people.
Y'all remember when we used to hang deer in the yard? Hey, ICE, I got thoughts about what we should do with you.
You can just kill ICE agents. You know that? You can just kill them. You don't have to hold your phone in their face and ask people when their birthday is and ask people what their name is and then try to find wherever they end up in Los Angeles. You can them.
I mean, we understand this environment. We understand what's going on. The issue is left-wing radicalism and Democrats emboldening these people and mobilizing these people on the streets. But according to them, it's tyranny. It's ICE's fault. I keep seeing that people are saying that ICE is escalating things. Even Dave Smith said that on X yesterday. But really? It's the ICE agents that are escalating? That's completely insane and backwards. There's no issue of tyranny here. ICE is not the problem. CBP is not the problem. Donald Trump, Kristi Noem, Stephen Miller, name any cabinet official, they're not the problem. It's clear that Minnesota under Democrat leadership is the problem. And here's the perfect post to put that into perspective. 23% of all ICE arrests occur in Texas. This is a fact, by the way. We covered the government statistics the other day that line up with this opening statement. 2.2% occur in Minnesota, a tenfold difference. Yet far more ICE-related violence is happening in Minnesota. Why? Well, because Democrats are promoting and provoking violence in the state. Democrats do not hate violence. Violence is their goal. You know, if you just detach from the partisan nonsense, if you omit all the emotional crap and just purely think about that statement, it's impossible to argue against. I mean, those are the facts. What we are seeing here is not tyranny in action, it's the Antifa playbook in action. U.S. Attorney Bill Asaley puts it into clear perspective. Antifa tactics are on full display today. What you are seeing is straight from their playbook to undermine government. Number one, agitate law enforcement, get in their face, spit on them, assault them. Number two, trigger a response and use of force by law enforcement. Number three, film the use of force and publicize it out of context. Number four, use the mainstream media and social media to inflame the public with a false narrative. And number five, trigger a riot to overthrow government. They tried this last summer in Los Angeles and it did not work. We aggressively arrested and charged violators on the spot and called in the National Guard. We restored law and order in California. The Justice Department will do the same in Minnesota. I agree 100%, especially on that last part that the Justice Department needs to act. You know, I was calling for Donald Trump to invoke the Insurrection Act last week. Frankly, I think had he invoked it, this wouldn't have happened. But now I think is the time. I mean, it's high time to invoke the Insurrection Act. People are saying, oh, no, don't do it because Democrats are going to weaponize it. Well, they're weaponizing this already. I mean, what more can they weaponize? And they're winning the narrative battle right now. This chaos feeds into their propaganda machine. You got to put an end to it. Basic civility and order has to be restored. What is happening in Minnesota is unjustifiable. It's mob rule, mob violence, domestic terrorism on the streets. And the more you let them do it, the more you allow this to continue, the more you put these federal officers in harm's way, and the more fuel you give to the left to build on these narratives. It is completely out of control. These people are engaging in street-level violence. They're inciting violence online with constant calls to kill ICE agents. They've got databases set up to track ICE, and they're stalking them and harassing them and impeding them everywhere they go, which actually, interestingly enough, we're just learning that one of the individuals leading one of these groups is actually a Tim Walz campaign strategist. Minnesota Signal Group leader identified as Amanda Kohler, a protest organizer and campaign strategist for Tim Walz. I mean, what the hell is going on? These people are complete lunatics. And again, it goes to the very tip top. And now they're trying to gaslight you as if they're the side of reason. No, my friends, they're the side of treason. They're causing abject chaos and destruction destruction. They're using these useful idiots that they're mobilizing on the streets as cannon fodder, and then taking the tragedy that they enabled to gaslight the public and pretend as if, they're taking the high road and they're on the right ethical side. Tim Walz is now talking about sending in the National Guard. Donald Trump wants chaos and we must not respond. We can't give them what they want. The implication is that ICE is causing the chaos on the street and they're just taking the higher road. It's freaking insane. They're the ones engaging in the chaos. ICE is dealing with their BS, with their street level terrorism as they attempt to do their job to apprehend illegal criminals off the streets. They're the ones radicalizing people by constantly lying about 5-year-old being arrested by ICE, American citizens being disappeared, Renee Good senselessly murdered for no apparent reason, as if she didn't drive a 4,000-pound vehicle directly at an ICE agent. They're not the voice of reason. They're the voice of chaos. And yet they gaslight us. Tim Walz talking about, it's time to quell the riots. I'm sending in the National Guard. But just like last time, he's got them posted up doing nothing. They're not even at the action zone.
Make a wish.
Meanwhile, there's riots happening, another Antifa autonomous zone, and yet Tim Walz is doing nothing. No police presence, no National Guard. The National Guard should have been deployed weeks ago, protecting these ICE agents so they don't have people like Alex Preddy physically assaulting them in the streets. I mean, we have another friggin' story of an ICE agent who had his finger bit off by a radical leftist psycho. I can't show you guys the photo, obviously, because it's gruesome, but I guess I could show you a highly blurred photo. Not like I need to show it anyways. I'm sure you guys have seen it, or if you haven't, just simply Google search it. It's real. And yet again, these people are gaslighting you as if Trump's the problem. Amy Klobuchar is taking to the podium to address the media with this smoke and mirrors nonsense. Donald Trump is not making us safer, as evidenced by the shooting of Alex Preddy.
We call on our Republican colleagues to stand with us. I know they know what's going on here because it's happening in their own districts. We have, of course, these shootings, but it is a lot more than that. They know that something's wrong when a Hmong elder is pulled out of a house in his underwear and slippers, and they figure out about an hour later they got the wrong guy, and in fact, the guy they were looking for is actually in jail. Or a 2-year-old, a case my office worked on, in addition to hundreds more, who's taken with her dad and then put on a plane to Texas when her mom is desperately trying to get her. We got her back, but none of this should be happening. None of it. So we call on our Republican colleagues to join us because we have warned this administration. I have personally warned them that there would be more deaths, that more of this would happen. And clearly they're not listening. So we ask people around the country to talk to their Republican representatives to make clear that this is not the America that is ours. This has got to stop.
One person dies because they gaslit him into taking to the streets and doing something that his parents warned against, something clearly, patently stupid, and that's evidence that Donald Trump is the problem and he's making Minnesota and America less safe. It's insane, and there's no talk about all the various criminals that they've taken off the streets, tens of thousands of them, hundreds of thousands of them. No talk about the countless lives that are being saved as fentanyl overdoses continue to drop, or the homicide reduction across big cities this year. I think down by 30%, which of course is thanks to the National Guard deployments, striking fear in the hearts of criminals across the nation, and of course the crackdown on illegal criminals and crime syndicates and cartels. Donald Trump is not making America less safe. He's saving countless lives. And you people are getting in his way violently. It's insane. It's the most backwards shit I've ever seen. It's a freaking psyop. And so many people have fallen for it, and now they believe they have the moral authority to threaten to shut down the government. It's absolutely insane. If you are getting cold feet right now, if you're falling for this emotional crap, you are playing directly into their little political games. It's about policy and legislation. It's about keeping the border open. It's about winning the 2026 elections. They're doing it on purpose. They're relying on hoaxes and tragic events that they enable so they can then turn around and incite more mass anti-government uprisings and then weaponize that and claim that it's all Donald Trump's fault. I mean, we've been through this before. We saw it during 2020. uncanny. And even recently, I've actually gone back and watched some of my older videos and some other videos from other creators during the BLM riots, and it's crazy. It's uncanny how what we were saying then matches up perfectly with what's happening right now. I'm just sitting here asking myself, how did people not learn the lesson the first time? How are people falling for this? They're poking the bear, triggering a response, and then gaslighting the public into essentially doing their political bidding. Wake up. This is not tyranny. This is weaponization of tragedy from the Democrat freaking establishment. Purposeful incitement, now creating martyrs, false martyrs, to fuel uprisings, to blackmail the public into supporting them, to blackmail the feds into stopping deportation and further enabling their lawlessness. It's clear as day. All you got to do is not be so emotional and simply analyze the facts, and it should be almost impossible to deny. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
Okay, I thought that was pretty good.
Def Leppard, the Las Vegas resident.
All right. Another good show, I thought. Till tomorrow night, evening at 6. Unless something breaks through in the morning. Thanks, everybody. The mods. Okay. And Tim, Carol, Lucy. JJ must be, hopefully she's not out of power, because I figured she might be out of power. So we'll see how things develop this week. We're at the end of January almost. Can't believe we're at the end of January. So God bless everybody. Of all, but please hit the like and go to the description box where the other channels are. Okay, and stay safe, stay strong, keep the faith. And never give up. Signing off for another David Tell. See how things go this week. Signing off, Chico Dude.